Welcome to Whispers and Tales of Romance, where love, fantasy, and passion come alive in every story. Don't forget to subscribe for more magical tales. The scent of lavender and honey drifted through the air as I scrubbed the stone floors of the grand hall. The fragrance didn't come from me, not from my ragged clothes or the bucket of cold water I dragged from one end of the room to the other. No, it came from the women upstairs, the chosen ones who bathed in rose oils and dressed in gowns finer than anything I'd ever touched. They were preparing for the mating ceremony. I wasn't. The hall echoed with my movements, each scrape of the brush against stone sounding louder than the beating of my heart. I pushed harder, forcing the dirt out of the cracks, pretending not to hear the laughter from above. They were excited, of course. Every unmated female in the kingdom dreamed of this night. The Alpha King himself was coming. He would walk among them, his sharp eyes searching for his Luna. A single glance, a chosen word, could change their lives forever. Mine. My life would never change. Scrub harder, girl, hissed Madame Cora, the head housekeeper, her shadow falling across me. Her voice was always laced with bitterness, as if every word she spoke was dipped in venom. These floors must shine enough to reflect the king's face. Do you want him to see your filth when he walks in? No, madam, I whispered, bowing my head. My arms ached. My knees burned against the rough stone. But I didn't dare complain. Complaints earned bruises, and bruises healed slower when no one cared to tend to them. Madame Cora clicked her tongue and waddled away, her heavy footsteps disappearing up the staircase. I heard more laughter from the women above, high-pitched giggles, whispers about gowns, silken ribbons, and which perfumes would catch the king's attention. I bit down on my lip until I tasted blood. They would never know what it felt like to scrub a floor while others prepared to meet destiny. They would never know what it meant to be invisible. But I knew. I had always known. I wasn't born to a noble family. I wasn't even born to a family at all. My earliest memory was of being found on the edge of the Blackwood Forest, shivering in a woven blanket, my skin marked with scratches, my tiny body almost lifeless. The pack had taken me in, yes, but not with love. More like pity. A stray pup. A burden. That was all I had ever been. Look at her. The others would whisper when they thought I wasn't listening. She doesn't even smell like one of us. And it was true. I wasn't like them. I had no wolf form, no scent to mark me as belonging to any pack. I was different. And in a world where bloodlines and strength meant everything, different meant worthless. So I learned to keep my head down. To stay small. To vanish into silence. It was safer that way. But even as I scrubbed those floors, something in me stirred. A restless energy, an ache that had been growing for weeks now. At night, when I closed my eyes, I dreamed of forests lit by silver moons, of glowing eyes watching me in the dark, of a voice whispering my name. A name only I seemed to know. Celine. That was my name. The only thing I had carried from the past I couldn't remember. And lately, it felt like that name was waking up inside me. Celine. I flinched, nearly dropping the brush. One of the maids, Talia, stood at the top of the staircase, her face flushed with excitement. Unlike me, she was dressed in silks, her hair pinned with pearls. She was only a servant like the rest of us, but she had been invited to attend the ceremony, because her mother once claimed distant ties to a Beta family. Guess what? She said breathlessly, eyes wide. The Alpha King is here. He's arrived. My chest tightened. The Alpha King. I had heard the stories, of course. Everyone had. He was the strongest wolf in the northern kingdoms, ruler of the Bloodfang pack. They said his power could shake the earth itself, that his wolf form was as black as midnight, his eyes like fire. They said no one dared defy him, not enemy, not ally, not even the moon goddess herself. And tonight, he was here. Talia's grin widened as she disappeared back into the flurry of preparations, leaving me once again with my bucket and brush. I tried to ignore the thudding in my chest. It was foolish to feel anything at all. The Alpha King would never look at me. He would never even know I existed. I dipped the brush back into the cold water, my fingers trembling. But then it happened. The great doors of the hall opened, heavy hinges groaning as the air shifted. I froze. the brush slipping from my grasp and clattering against the stone. Boots stepped onto the freshly scrubbed floor, polished black leather that gleamed beneath the torches. A tall figure entered, his presence so commanding it felt like the very air bent around him. The Alpha King. My breath caught. He was even more imposing than the stories described. Broad-shouldered, towering, with dark hair falling across his brow. His jaw was sharp, his expression unreadable, and his eyes. Moonlight and fire collided in those eyes. Piercing. Dangerous. Alive. And they locked on me. For one endless heartbeat, he stared. Not at the silken ladies waiting upstairs, not at the finely dressed servants bowing in the corners. No, his gaze was on me, the girl on her knees with a bucket of dirty water. Heat rushed through my veins. My pulse thundered in my ears. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, as if the world itself had gone still. Something flickered across his face. Confusion. Recognition. A strange intensity that made my skin prickle. And then, he inhaled, sharp and deep, as though catching a scent only he could detect. His eyes narrowed. His chest rose. My body trembled under his gaze. No one had ever looked at me like that before. No one. Who is she? His voice was low, commanding, laced with a growl that made my stomach twist. The hall went silent. I felt dozens of eyes turn toward me. Madame Cora hurried forward, bowing so low her double chin touched her chest. "Forgive her, Alpha," she stammered. "Just a servant girl. Pay her no mind." The king's eyes never left mine. His expression darkened, unreadable, but his voice was certain. "No," he said, his words echoing against the stone walls. "She is not just a servant." My heart stopped. He took one step closer. Then another. The ground seemed to tremble beneath his boots. My breath came shallow, my body rooted to the floor. When he finally stood before me, towering over my trembling form, I dared to lift my gaze. His eyes burned into mine, and for a single, impossible moment, I thought I saw something there, something raw, something fierce, something that felt like destiny itself. His lips parted. "She's mine." This was the Alpha King's hidden mate, a full-length werewolf romance audiobook, narrated by Whispers and Tales of Romance. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe for more enchanting stories.